This happened a few months ago and it still bothers me because I never figured out what my dog was reacting to that night. I live in a small house on the edge of a quiet neighborhood and most nights are completely peaceful. My dog is usually calm and only barks if someone is actually near the house. One night around 1:30 in the morning, I woke up suddenly because he started barking loudly in the living room. At first I thought maybe a stray cat or another dog had walked past the yard because that happens sometimes and he usually stops after a minute. But this time he kept barking nonstop and it sounded different. It was the kind of bark he makes when a stranger is nearby. I got out of bed and walked into the hallway and saw him standing near the front window staring outside into the yard. His ears were straight up and his whole body looked tense. When I looked outside I could not see anything at all. The yard looked empty and the street light across the road was lighting everything clearly. I tried calling him away from the window but he would not move. He kept staring at the same exact spot in the yard and barking like someone was standing there. I stepped closer to the window and looked again but there was still nothing there. After a minute his barking suddenly stopped but he did not relax. He kept staring at the same spot outside like he was watching something slowly move. That was the moment I started feeling uneasy because my dog never acts like that for no reason. I turned on the porch light hoping it would scare away whatever was there, but the yard still looked completely empty. My dog slowly backed away from the window and came to stand next to me, but he kept staring outside and quietly growling. I stayed there watching the yard for a few minutes but nothing moved and nothing made any noise. Eventually everything became quiet again and I went back to bed thinking maybe some animal had been there and ran away before I could see it. The next morning when I stepped outside I noticed something that made my stomach drop. In the dirt near the window there were clear footprints leading across my yard. They were not animal tracks. They looked like human shoe prints. What bothered me the most was the direction they were facing. Whoever made them had been standing directly in front of my window looking into the house. There were several prints in the same spot like someone had been standing there for a while. The footprints continued across the yard and disappeared near the street. I checked around the side of the house and near the back but there were no other tracks. That meant whoever it was had only come to the front window. My dog must have seen that person standing there in the dark while I was asleep. For the next few nights I kept checking the yard before going to bed and nothing strange happened again. I tried to tell myself maybe it was someone drunk or someone walking through the neighborhood who stopped for a moment. But the part that still bothers me is how long they must have been standing there. About a week later, something happened that made the whole thing worse. Late at night, my dog suddenly walked to the same window again and started staring outside. This time, he did not bark right away. He just stood there very still with his ears up. I felt that same uneasy feeling again and slowly walked over to look outside. The yard looked empty just like before. But when I looked closer toward the street, I noticed a figure walking away down the sidewalk. It was too dark to see who it was, but I could clearly see someone moving away from my house. They did not run or look back. They just kept walking until they disappeared down the road. My dog started barking again only after the person was already far away. I never saw that person again and nothing like that has happened since. But ever since that night, I keep my curtains closed and I always check the yard before turning off the lights. Because my dog was not barking at nothing. He was barking at someone standing outside my window watching the house.